Air temperature.
Cold.
19 that day.
So did the water feel actually warm to compare? No.
It was very windy. It was brisk, to say the least. Like, I felt bad for everyone jumping. I cheered extra loud. There are a lot of big groups though, I thought. Yeah.
All right, it's 6 o'clock, so I'll call the meeting to order. For members that are wondering why I have the gavel tonight, President Erickson did mention that he may be late or not in attendance tonight. Abby, can you take the roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Grindal.
Here.
Commissioner Lord.
Here.
Commissioner Roberts.
Here.
Commissioner Wright.
Here.
Treasurer Hoyt.
Here.
Vice Chair Legness.
Present.
And I'll note for the record, our president is not in attendance at the moment.
All right, thank you. For those able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States,
Public for which to stand.
one nation, under God, liberty and justice for all.
I would seek approval of the agenda or anyone that wishes to alter it. There's a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're at the open forum. The open forum is an opportunity for citizens to express any opinions that they wish to share with this body. I don't see anyone in the audience. Do we have anyone online that?
We no longer have online participation options.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to item number 6, the consent agenda. Is there any items that a member wishes to pull? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're at the regular agenda item, acceptance of Forest Lake Area Chamber of Commerce 2025 annual report. Abby, are you going to kick us off with that?
I am. Thank you
Thank you.
very much. As the EDA is aware, the city or the EDA has a cooperative agreement with Forest Lake Area Chamber of Commerce to conduct certain economic development services within the city. Predominantly, these are related to our business retention and expansion program. So I enclosed the cooperative agreement for your review. The agreement we signed last year is a 3-year agreement. So we don't have to necessarily do anything with the agreement tonight, but also included is the 2025 annual report from the chamber. That is a requirement of the agreement. And so, as I noted in my staff report, overall, the chamber's doing a great job. They're fulfilling the agreement requirements. The only area that the EDA has ever kind of discussed is the BR&E activity specifically, and whether or not there's anything that the EDA would want to see from the chamber in this arena. As noted in the annual report, the chamber, specifically Nanette, who was not able to stay this evening, but she has been doing a lot more business visits, just drop-ins. And so the question that I would only have for the EDA, is there anything you'd like her to be asking members and reporting back? As of right now, we don't have that data, but I just thought if you guys want to chat about that, and Nanette and I can chat about if there's certain things the EDA would like to see. Other than that, tonight your action really would be to discuss the report, and if you're favorable to the contents, move to accept the Chamber's 2025 annual report.
Are there any questions on the staff report or a motion to approve?
I'm sorry, could I just ask a question? Are there any current questions or things that Nanette asks as she's doing her visits that?
I think a lot of it is just kind of asking right now, how are things going? More than anything. In the last few years, we've chatted the Chamber, Washington County EDA, and also Tyler Hilsebeck with Open to Business have talked about maybe a more formalized program, even if it's just asking kind of the same questions and reporting back each time. We haven't been able to memorialize anything with just some of the turnover in our organizations. But I certainly can ask Nanette if there's certain questions she's asking and report back.
I was just curious, and I just assume that our feedback loop for that information is Nanette attending these meetings and just verbally giving us that feedback, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For now. Unless something more formal comes about.
Others?
If she's out doing these visits, it would be nice to have, I don't know if we have something, a packet from the city or something that's promoting both the city and or other businesses or something physically that we can hand them.
Yeah.
And then maybe some type of a sign thing saying, yes, the visit was made and that we can, there's some follow-up, there's something that's written.
Sure.
That she maybe feels the city should be checking out if it's city specific, if it's something, I'm reading some of these comments here, something about new business connect with staff.
Yeah.
There was
So.
traffic stuff I thought I saw here on here somewhere.
Yeah, it looks like page 21 in your packet. There was like a struggling due to road construction and a
Yeah.
gas retail in December of last year. So the EDA may remember early in the year 2025, we partnered with the chamber on developing a new brochure for businesses. So I would hope that Nanette is providing that to those businesses when she's stopping in, that has city contact information, chamber, Washington County EDA, and open to business. Additionally, when I am able to attend ribbon cuttings, I do also bring that information. But then there's many times that she is passing on new businesses or just general phone inquiries on to staff. We're not always tracking where those come from, right? Sometimes somebody will maybe say, oh, hey, Nanette said I should reach out to you. I certainly can ask her possibly, or that maybe, starting this year, that we just have like a quarterly update on just how those business visit drop-ins are going. Do you think that would be okay, or do you want it in writing, or?
Either or, I guess it just doesn't necessarily have to be in writing. When this program first came out years and years ago, it was a little bit more hands-on by the commission where we all took a specific list and some commission members actually made those visits ourselves. I'm not advocating for that right now with just the extra bandwidth that I know people struggle with, but just, if there's something we can get back either quarterly by, if she comes in and does that report, or if there's something in writing that we can have. I think it'd be nice just to know that follow through is happening.
Yeah, I do know that, I believe at least that the chamber board had kind of hoped to see more of these kind of drop-in visits. That's why if you're looking at the annual report, pages 20 and 21 in your packet, you can see that towards the end of the year, there were a lot more visits. So maybe that's third and fourth quarter, you start to see more of them. And so I think that that's just one of those things that'll expand. And as that Nanette continues to do that, I'll make sure that we try to best kind of communicate some of that feedback to this group too.
A lot of that communication is available on the chamber website on her newsletters. Quite informative and for the trade industry. That's another outlet for her to give us feedback, but I found it, through the chamber. That's an exciting group.
Yeah, I think, yeah, a dozen or so, I think would, yeah.
Disseminates.
Yeah.
Good to. So.
So did she have a sense, like from 2025 then, based on all of these visits, is there, or maybe it's in here, I'm so sorry, but like just a synopsis of like, these are the top things that I heard but that are opportunities to partner with the city, or that they need more support for, or that are sticking points, or, or they get stuck, that we might be able to smooth things out.
No, that isn't in a report, but I think that that's something that Nanette and I can start to work through. It looks like, more towards the end of this, in 2025, December is when she kind of started to ask, how can we help, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe it's one of those things that Nanette and I just have more regular communication on what she's hearing, and then we start consolidating that information and tracking it a little better.
I was thinking that would be a great start to know like what the summary of last year was, even if it's anecdotal and just kind of pull together. But then like as a first step to formalize it, some of the common responses could be whether it's an online quick survey or something that she is handing out. These are the top things that I struggle with or that I need help with or whatever. And then of course the other field for anything else that they have. But it'd be a quick way to just aggregate some of the information.
Sure. I can chat with Ned about that, and then, definitely by this time next year, when we get that annual report, see that we can have a little bit more of that aggregate data year over year, I think.
That's what I feel like I would really like, because I mean, as the EDA, it's like, how can we help, these businesses, or does it feed us information that's going to help us as we talk to or think about new perspective people wanting to come into our area or that we want to attract to our area? I don't have any idea what our current businesses are struggling with. And I feel like I should have
Sure.
some idea of that.
Yeah, I can share that with her.
Okay, thanks.
Other comments? Is there any inclination to approve the staff recommendation to move acceptance of the annual report?
I move we accept the annual report.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're on item number 7B, Headwaters 123 concept plan update. Abby, are you going to summarize that for us as well? Thank you.
Thank you. So as the EDA is aware, last year, the EDA and the City Council had a number of discussions about Headwaters 123. And at the time, the EDA had kind of wanted to change tunes a little bit, recognizing that marketing the site for an exclusive single user might not produce the tax base and or jobs that maybe a property that's master planned and divided up with multiple users could produce. And so the EDA directed staff to update the job center concept plat and to include changes that would include potentially some retail service along the parkway adjacent to the existing kind of village area. And then also to allow for some residential in the southwest corner. And then possibly along Fenway Avenue, but that wasn't necessarily a given. I didn't hear overwhelming support for that. I'm just going to plug in really quick so everybody knows what I'm talking about. And then in addition to updating this concept plat, the EDA had directed staff to start doing some engagement with the development community, including once that plat gets finished, put it online. We had talked about an RFP, but then we also talked about a developers roundtable, and I'm still working through the scoping of what that kind of looks like. Tonight, though, for your consideration is a proposal from Tulalip. Bruce Chamberlain, the city's planner that assisted with the concept platting project, has provided an updated proposal or a proposal to update that job center. Oh, I plugged in, but I'm not sharing. Sure, you can all see it, but for everyone who's following along at home. That job center, again, updating with maybe some service retail here, some potential residential down in that southwest corner, maybe along Fenway, but reserving the largest portion of this for that tax base and jobs types users. So Tulalip's included a proposal in your packet, which would include updating this at a cost not to exceed. Now I'm plugged in and I don't have that number right in front of me.
$2,400.
Thank you. I couldn't remember if it's
Including reimbursable expenses.
Pardon?
Including reimbursable expenses.
Exactly. So tonight for your consideration is whether or not we want to move forward with updating that concept plat and the moving or if The ED is favorable. Staff would recommend you move to approve the Talali scope of services, and we move forward with updating the concept plan. Any questions?
Questions, comments? Explanation to move approval?
So, President, Vice President, I have just a question. So on that 24, and if the scope is in here, is that coming to this body and meeting with us and presenting, us sharing some of those things, or is that already assumed that we've kind of shared what we'd like to see that look like? And what's the scope in full? I mean, for
Sure. So the scope is on page 20, or the scope of work proposal is on page 26 in your packet. And what that would do is that would include a meeting with staff on proposed changes, creating a modified job center alternative for review, which I definitely can bring to this body and convey back. Translating those changes into a concept layout, and then sending back for review for any final input, and then providing the materials to us. They would be willing to come for in-person meetings at an additional service rate of $800 a visit. So if you wanted Bruce to come in and sit down and roundtable it with the EDA, that's fine, but there would be a slight upcharge for that. It does indicate that he could have it done in a couple of weeks, but that would not be if there was a meeting necessarily. But I do think that what we could do, if the EDA did want to meet with Bruce, I think what we could do is execute the agreement, I can provide him some kind of guidance, or the EDA could provide him with some guidance. We get a concept plan and Bruce could come in and present that and prepare some feedback for him.
I guess not 100% sure it's necessary for him. If staff feels, and if this body has felt they've given enough feedback to staff to move forward with this, and I would be fine with states now. It would be nice for him, whether it's another $800 visit, to come and present the final product,
Sure.
I guess, but I don't know if I'd want to pay the $800 for him to come present that.
And just for clarification, so these could be, I guess it does say commercial or industrial.
Yeah, so the business park district, when we're looking at the concept plat that's on page 25, so that kind of aerial. Right now, this was looking at really large users. The intent was to try to break that up a little bit more. Our business park district allows for a lot of different types of uses: office, medical, industrial. It will even allow for restaurants by conditional use permit or under different circumstances. And so I think the idea is, how can we best design this in a way that could attract a variety of high-paying jobs that will also increase the tax base?
Question, we talked before, how long are the wetland? Does he use the existing ones? Or-
We'll use existing on the updating of the concept plat, but again, this is just a concept. The wetland delineations are good for 5 years. We are in discussions with the technical evaluation panel about the existing delineation, whether or not that can be extended, or the prior one can be extended, or if we need to do a new one. We do know that there's some drain tile that might need to be repaired in there. We're going to look into that this spring and work with our lessee on whether or not we need to do some more modifications in that area.
So this will not affect his.
This will not affect this at all.
I'm comfortable with staff meeting with him, and I don't see a reason why I need to be in a workshop to go over, but if other commissioners felt so inclined, I wouldn't oppose it. I would say, though, that I have one question on that, that maybe would help Member Roberts' point of getting the presentation. It does say in here that it's an in-person meeting or presentation would have that upcharge. Perhaps we could have him
virtually.
log in virtually and satisfy the questions that might arise, but not have to force them to drive here?
Yeah, I can talk with them about that. It does indicate that there is a meeting to confirm proposed changes, and it could be that even just a committee of the EDA, a couple members might be able to meet me and virtually meet Bruce and I virtually, and we'd be able to kind of work through some of that. I can talk with him about that.
President, so I'm just going to back up just a little bit here, somewhat related. So as you all know, we did separate ways with Administrator Stotts. An email was sent to all the commission members and all the commissions. And so as part of that, and Jolene Chaika is our interim city administrator long-term, and part of that agreement or understanding with the council was the desire to have a subcommittee of economic development. And so that the council decided that would be, President Erickson and myself as role and mayor. And so just to support Abby and her department on really things like this. And so maybe as a suggestion, if this board is comfortable that if the availability is there for myself and or President Erickson to attend that meeting, maybe that would make sense to have that representation from this board.
That makes sense.
If the board's comfortable with that.
Yeah, of course.
I'm quite comfortable with it. I think we're a 7-member board, so actually 3 of us could do that
And
in this
more than
committee,
welcome
so
to
if
have-
someone else.
If someone else is it, yeah, absolutely.
I think that sounds reasonable. I mean,
Okay. I think I have enough direction. It sounds like the EDA is favorable to moving forward with this work, that we would have a small committee of the EDA and staff meet with Bruce to provide some of that early feedback. And then whether or not he could potentially present in a virtual format to help lower the costs in the final presentation.
A question then for the board here. One of the changes is, are we talking about some retail or some type of retail office along headwaters, and then potentially residential to the south along the border with the golf course?
Sure. This is what I at least have heard in our past discussions. Let me log back in here really quick. Is that the EDA was favorable to a smaller portion of residential down in this area that would help better tie the residential that's right along the golf course together, because that site has some access constraints and there may need to be a through to get this development out of, to kind of get it through. The other thing I heard from the EDA is that potentially you'd maybe be favorable to some density or residential, maybe higher density, not higher density, I can't necessarily, along Fenway, given the fact that we're going to have single family uses across the street. Now, that being said, I think I've shared with the EDA and council, if we wanted to sell this whole thing for residential right now, we probably could. And I think that that is a last bit priority of the city, right? We want to first see how the most of this can develop in a non-residential fashion. But then I also heard from the EDA that along the parkway in this location, kind of adjacent to the other kind of village area, that you might be more favorable to a little bit of service, not necessarily retail. It could be, a dry cleaner. It could be another bank or something like that. Those are all uses allowed in the zoning district and are going to be more desirable from the development community because the underlying zoning district already allows those. These things about residential over here would require a zoning amendment and a comprehensive plan amendment. And so I think in talking through that with Bruce, how we design this in a way that shows that it could be not variety of uses, but that we're favorable to these potentially is going to be something that I'm going to have to talk through with him. At least that's what I heard in past conversations.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I just wanted to make sure if we're going to go forward, if the commission is still favorable to those potential options.
Yeah, yes, I am.
Seeing heads nod yes. I don't see any shaking it no. Other comments on it? The staff recommendation is to motion approval of the collaborative concept plan update work proposal. Is there anyone that would like to make that motion? We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries. We're on the 2026 work plan. I believe this is also you, Abby. Thank you.
So over the last couple of months, we've talked about updating the EDA's work plan for 2026. As a reminder, we started early conversations about updating the work plan and whether or not we wanted to do another 2 to 3 year period. It was discussed that we probably would just have a 1 year period because the council was looking at setting some strategic direction for the city. I still would advocate that we just have this 1 year work plan right now, just given where we are at. So included in your packet on page 35 is a proposed, what I'm just calling a work plan table, broken out by quarters. The items that the EDA would focus on this year. Included in this is, the Highway 61 corridor planning. That was kind of the direction I heard from the EDA at the last meeting to really get the Highway 61 on there in advance of our comprehensive planning update, and then also in advance of any sort of MnDOT actions that would be in their improvement schedule. I did also take off the monument wayfinding signage because I didn't hear overwhelming support from the EDA or really anybody say, yes, we really should do that. I'll be honest, it would be overly ambitious to have both of those projects on here and believe we could accomplish portions of each of them this year. Included in it is our policy review, which we're going to start very much now we're pretty much at the end of the first quarter with the EDA, but 2026 quarter 2. Also working on that Headwaters 123, really starting to dive into site incentives after we look up that policy review and updating our policies. And then middle of the year, towards the end of the year, really start looking at some of that community vision and that corridor planning. So this is up for your discussion. Staff is hoping you're ready to approve a 2026 work plan. So then that way we can really start to continue our work and our efforts this year. Any questions? If there's no questions and the EDA seems favorable, staff would recommend you motion to approve the 2026 work plan as presented on page 35 in the packet.
Is there a motion?
Second.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the staff recommended work plan. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 8, discussion. We have no items on here, so we'll move to number 9A. A city engineer report from Ryan Goodman.
Good evening. I asked to share what some infrastructure projects that are going to be happening this summer, and I'll kind of go into some later years too. So give you kind of a bigger picture. Obviously, the big one that's going to have stage 2 of the project.
Ryan, could you please pause 1 second? Abby, the only computer that's on is Leif
Okay.
Erickson's up here.
None of ours are on either.
Came on for a second.
They shut off right when those flipped on.
When what flipped on? What?
The screens.
If I shut it all down for a second.
No, no, it's up. Thank you. Sorry about that, Ryan.
Ryan, could you go to the podium and see if we can try it that way? Please. And thank you. Hope this works.
Popped up there again.
There we go.
We're good.
We have it.
Gone.
No.
Oh, no, it's up.
Hey. Everyone
Fast.
hold your breath. Oh.
Might want to spend that $800 on IT stuff.
Let me just try one more, just reset it. I apologize because I know and can do a lot of things around here, but this is one area that is not my specialty or expertise whatsoever. That didn't work at all, huh? That was, I mean, it would have. You're right, we could,
We're up. It's up.
I think,
It's your laptop.
I'm
Every time you
not,
flip it up.
I'm not connected to anything, so it's, I'm not sure how to go about.
I can give him a sec.
Yeah, we could try that, right? We could try one more over here. Can I have you try one more back over here? Nikki?
I just switched cords of,
I was just wondering actually that that's that adapter.
there was another one here. I just tried it.
Adapters before. The other option, Ryan, is you could come over and use my computer. That's all you're doing is our GIF.
Oh, shoot.
I was thinking.
Wanna come use mine?
Oh.
Okay, so now we need the blue cord down here.
There's an IT guy coming to the rescue.
Usually the reason it comes on for 3 seconds, it's an anti-piracy thing.
Or we can just run it. He can work
Up
on his
now.
computer.
It's staying up right now.
So it's,
Sure.
it's actually probably that,
Yep.
that's,
Yep.
it's hating.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll get you one.
Here's to be working, Ryan. Sorry about that.
All right. Project one area I'll talk about is the second stage of Highway 97. Typically, construction starts again when load restrictions go off. They haven't even been placed yet, so it's a ways out. I believe there's gonna be some project coordination meetings with MinDOT and the contractor trying to just narrow down a schedule when they're gonna start here in March. So we'll have more details here in a couple of weeks, but that second stage of Highway 97, that'll be a full closure. That'll go from Falcon all the way to Forest Road. And that'll include constructing a roundabout at Fenway and Highway 97. And it'll also have the continuation of the trail, new trail on the south side of 97. It'll connect into Forest Road, and there'll be a little short segment that'll come down. So then it'll connect into Hardwood Creek Trail. So it'll be kind of a really nice connectivity loop that's going to happen, because in 27, the city has in their capital improvement plan, Fenway Avenue, it'll be a pavement rehab kind of project, but it also have a little bit of concrete work in there. So we need the pedestrian crossings, the sidewalks will be replaced and the ped ramps, and there's budget in there for 2 rectangular rapid flashing beacon systems, the push button, the yellow blink to cross, to be located within that project. And then that would also include finishing the trail connection right there at Fenway Athletic Park up to the Highway 97 project. So when we get past the end of 27, there's going to be a lot of additional trail connectivity down in this neighborhood in the developing areas. And then, I mean, even like people that are at those all-day softball tournaments now, you know, just need to get out of there, or their parents are waiting between games and want somewhere to go walk. Now you're going to actually have places to go. And with those loops, you could, if you had a really long late, you know, in between games, you could even walk right up to downtown, up the Hardwood Creek Trail. So exciting area that's going to happen in that area with all the projects that are going on in that area. And I'll just stay in this part of town while I'm here, because intersection of Trunk Highway 61 and County Road 50 is going through a project designed right now with the county. So they've had 2 public open houses, been very successful on securing some funding that is kind of, we're anticipating 2028 construction at this intersection. It will be a definitely intersection control change, whether that's ultimately a signal or a roundabout, still to ultimately be determined. A lot of things do point that it will probably be a roundabouts, but there's a lot of other things they're looking at. This little stretch of Forest Road in here, how they can realign that to get a little more spacing between the roundabouts. Where does the eye of that roundabout sit, based on some other large trunk utilities in this area? But this is planned for a 28 construction project, so definitely a safety upgrade there. The county also just released a request for proposals for the County Road 50 corridor study, and that's going to go all the way from this intersection all the way down County Road 50 out to Manning Avenue, or County State Aid Highway 15 in Scandia. So this whole stretch is going to be part of that study, and it goes, you know, out the farther part of east side of town before it jogs down here, and then out right here to Manning Avenue. The county did coordinate with the city, half dozen to 10 comments that we submitted to be incorporated in the study of things that we wanted to be within this RFP. So access management is going to be the big thing, right? Because we got a lot of development that's going to be happening in here, and you know, stuff's being submitted to the city as we talk. So that's going to be a major thing in there. And then there's also, before all our time sitting here, there was a study that showed this county road being realigned through here. We requested that they look at that at this time. I mean, we wouldn't be building anything. It's simply going to be a study to scope what's going to be built in the future and what property needs to be acquired, where stormwater permitting can be done. We're requiring them to do a full wetland delineation from 61 to Ingersoll, because this is all in our MUSA boundary. We really need to narrow down, just like we did with the Southwest area study, where's the parkway going to go, right? So a lot of fun things are going to go on with this study. The county anticipates that study would be completed at the end of 2027. So just a lot of stuff going down in that south area. And then quarterly, we have meetings with MnDOT in Washington County, and there's then a lot of the conversations now being ramped up again at the intersection of Harrow Avenue and Highway 97, because of all the development that's happening just in this particular area. You've got Chestnut Creek Phase 2 that's changed names to Havenwood now. That's going to be doing street utility work down in here. So a lot more stuff coming in that particular area. And then as you kind of just work up the 61 corridor, there's supposed to be an RFP being released by MnDOT. The city has requested to review and comment on it before it's released to consultants. So keep thinking it was last month, this, you know, so I don't know when that's coming out, but they're telling us early spring, so a lot going on with that. And then Eureka Avenue, you might be aware of. Before I get to Eureka, local street work that's gonna happen in the city this year is gonna be down in this particular area. Basically, we'll be resurfacing a lot of streets, and then anywhere there's ped ramps at intersections, we'll make those ADA compliance part of our transition. Get that ADA compliant there. Eureka Avenue, so we're still waiting on a DNR easement, and it's been over a year and a half that we applied for this easement. It's at the federal level. And the local DNR can't give us direct answers and replies on what's taken so long, but long story short, the property was purchased back in the day with federal funds, and after going through the local level, it all has to then go through the federal level. So potentially that's no work, or if any work goes on this year other than surcharge placements. We already kind of been planning a lot for a 2027 project instead of major work this year. But we need that DNR permit through here, be able to do anything permanent, otherwise we move forward at our own risk. So that's what the kind of going on with Eureka. But Eureka Avenue will also have a trail on the east side of it, lakeside, coming all the way up to County Road 32 here. We are working with the City of Columbus on them trying to secure funding to do their portion in the city. So there's, can't see it, right? Map cuts off, but there's a portion of Eureka Avenue that's in Columbus that's not improved right now. Their project's designed, they just need to encumber money for that construction. So they did solicit a couple grants that they're still waiting to hear on if they're successful or not. So that's kind of moving forward too. Another big change that's going to happen is County State Aid Highway 32 or 11th Avenue, from kind of where the bridge construction stops back in the day all the way up to 61. And now it's going to include the realignments of Forest Road. Coming up here, come up to 4th, and there'll be a roundabout here. But this project will have a trail along the entire corridor as well. This project, though, is being moved to 28 major construction. There's probably going to be some activity out there in 27 that'll be clearing and grubbing. A lot of surcharge stuff will be placed with this project too in 27 with the poor soils in the area and obviously the wetlands adjacent to it. But major construction in 28. So that's a project the county's been chasing for a number of years, where we thought we were successful with a large amount of money from the states, and then it never got awarded, and then time goes on, and then we just got the $5 million award, which is allowing for the realignment of Forest Road and to buy down a lot of the other project costs that are related to our local share. So that'll be a nice project when that's all said and done. The other major project that's gonna happen right now from a cooperative agreement standpoint is Highway 8. So that's gonna go from '61, mostly just like a resurfacing through here and through this area. But as they get heading up to Chisago, they'll fully reconstruct that. That'll be a 3-year construction project. They want to bid it January 27 or February 27. So they're gonna be moving pretty fast on a lot of final design this summer. That project does include a trail connected into the Hardwood Creek Trail and running along the whole entire west or north side of Highway 8 all the way up to Carmel Avenue in Chisago City, which is the extension of the Swedish Immigrant Trail. So now you're going to have another regional trail come down into the city of Forest Lake, which will connect into the Hardroot Creek Trail. So from a serious user, trail user, there's going to be quite the route for people to be going. So that 27, they plan on starting a lot of the work in here and some of the local roadways, and it might bleed into 28s, but just some of the local major impacts in Forest Lake. That'll be I don't know if you can, is this leg?
I think it stops at the county line, if I remember right.
Like, I should be able to move to nothing, but it's froze right now, I think. So this is Greenway right here that comes up to Highway 8's, that first intersection down off of Highway 8. There's gonna have a little mini roundabout here to connect the commercial and the residential. We're hoping to get some trail brought out of that down to North Shore Drive and Trail, because that's kind of one of the city's major project planned in the future. That some work will start on that this summer, tentatively looking at 28s or 29 construction, but that'll be a full reconstruction. 75% of our lead service lines are in North Shore Drive, and that's obviously something we got to take care of. So that's going to be a nice project, and there's some capacity issues with the sanitary sewer in there too. So all that's been budgeted and planned in the capital improvement plan. And we'll have to start, going through that project. That would go through a pretty extensive public engagement process. So the ultimate project, what it looks like, I don't know at this point, but it will include some enhanced pedestrians, trail pedestrians, facility uses that'll go all the way along North Shore Drive to North Shore Trail, and then out to 235th. And that froze. So that was the last major project I was going to talk about, but
Question for you, Ryan, are we still contemplating, is related to business here, bringing water and sewer over to that business park, a Good View Circle? Correct.
good question. We actually had a meeting this morning with the county and the consultant that they're working with on the project plans and specs, and just timing wise, when can we get this stuff in? When do we need to show it to submit to you guys? So that'll be working through the next couple of months, because they want to get to a 90% plan by May 1st, and then keep moving that project forward. But you can see the sewer stops right here. There's some water main that's not turned on, but there's water main in here too. But both of them were extending across the road right here, and then coming up, just stopping here. That could ultimately serve the future development of that industrial park. So, and I mean, just getting water over there for fire safety too is a big thing. So that's kind of what we got going on with some of the bigger projects. Obviously, there's a lot of residential development going on. That's going to bring a lot of rooftops in the next 3 years. Potentially, if all these developments do go this summer, this will be the most development the city has ever seen at one given time, even between the township and the city days. So that's pretty substantial. So if your staff seems stressed, biggest they've ever seen. And, so that's going to be really fun, interesting, but there's going to be a lot of new stuff happening with all this too, right? So.
I do have a question, kind of piggybacking off of Member Blake's comments on Goodview Circle. Is that access of Goodview Circle to 8, where it's currently, I believe, right in, right out only, is that going to be maintained?
Yes.
It will be. Okay.
Yep. Because there'll be a median down the road there. So that won't be changing.
I wasn't sure if they had cut it off. I know they changed a lot of the stuff on the plans further northeast.
Oh, yeah.
Will Highway 8 be 2 lanes with a turn lane?
it'll be like Frenchman Boulevard in Hugo. So the main thing that the project is bringing forward is a lot of access management. So kind of what Eric there just brought up. You're gonna see some switchbacks. That'll be more, I mean, a lot of the change is happening north of us, right? This isn't really changing other than the intersection in Greenway and Highway 8 in Forest Lake. And with the trail along the whole entire side. So what I mean by switchback is if I want to go left, they don't want you crossing the lanes of traffic. You're gonna have to go right, which will be an easy way to get out. I do this actually every morning. This is like up where I come from. And then sometimes where I cut through, I hit a couple more actually. So it's trying to avoid playing Frogger between multiple lanes, right? You're gonna turn right, so you're gonna drive a while, get in the turn lane to do a U-turn coming back. So they're trying to, obviously, environmental's a major thing along the corridor. So there's a lot of features like that through the project. So the width of the road varies. Intersection control varies between here and Carmel Avenue. Carmel Avenue, I know for sure is gonna have a roundabout. I can't remember what that major intersection up in, well, it's still in Chisago too, that one with the driving range. I can't remember. I'll have to look
Green
at the
Lake Trail.
plans. I just spend more time down here. So if there's any other specific questions, like what's it gonna look like, I can get you guys more information on that.
Ryan, I thought at one point in time I heard that there would be some sound barriers along Highway 8. Is that, where are we at with that?
There will be no sound barriers along Highway 8. That was brought up through the project that was shot down. Got pretty involved with that. With a lot of help from elected officials, because the sound barriers were being proposed to block the commercial property, which we all know that commercial wants to be seen, right? So I
Any-
think they would want to be seen.
Any other questions for Ryan? Appreciate the
I'm
report.
pros if you need me to move.
At least you could see it.
So. Yeah, it's gonna be really busy the next several years. Gonna be a lot of growth, a lot of new connectivity with pedestrian facilities, a lot of safety improvements. And good things, so.
Ryan, the question, so on the 97 project, the hope is that for just a short period of time, it'll be completely closed off, but to get access to Fenway.
That's what we're pushing on the city side, is to try to get that completed from Falcon to Fenway as fast as possible. That way, all the traffic coming off the freeway, we don't want it lingering through these neighborhoods like Everton Avenue. If they can get to Fenway Avenue and go south, at just even a right down, south down, that's going to help traffic flow a lot better. We have, obviously, you've seen a lot of work going on in the winter. They did a lot of the tree clearing and stuff like that. We did the force main, we knew we had to relocate at this intersection. We've already completed that work in anticipation, trying to get some of the underground work done prior to this project starting here in the spring to expedite that construction. So we're trying to do everything and anything that we could have did to get that work completed faster.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none. Thank you, Ryan. We'll move on to item number 9B, Washington County Open to Business 2025 Summary Report. Chris, I assume you're taking this one?
I'd be happy to. Thank you, Vice President Langness and members. Good evening. So just as a reminder, no matter what a business is struggling with right now, there's help available. And we want to make sure that if they do need help, no matter whether it's financial planning or looking at sites or a new business plan for some startup entrepreneurs who are thinking about starting a business, we want them to know that the Open to Business program is a resource that's free, no cost to the business, to sit down with an advisor and go through their financing, their business plan. If they're growing, there's opportunities for for working capital loans to help them get through to the next stage. And what we did is Abby included in your board packets, the 2025 summary of all of the businesses that were assisted throughout the county. And you can see there were a number of them in Forest Lake, and it's just a good reminder to reach out, to talk to businesses that are struggling. And no matter what that struggle looks like, there's help available. And so just kind of a reminder to pass that information along. And I know that when Nanette does go out and do the business visits, she brings information along on the Open the Business program that she can hand out. And been a good resource. So we want to continue to work with you and with the businesses here in the community to get that help businesses whenever we can. Be happy to stand for any questions.
Are there any questions? I do have one, Chris. On page 37 of your report, you list each of the cities. And there's one line that says other outside of Washington County, and it notes 16 on the first column and 11 on the second. Can you enlighten me more on?
I'd have to check on that one specifically, but it could be a referral or it could be that somebody moved and then another advisor from outside of the county took them. So Tyler Hilsebeck is our business advisor for the Open to Business program. He oversees all of the counties and the advisors throughout the metro area. We're really lucky to have him, but he's also the supervisor for all of the business advisors. And it could have been that he handed that off to somebody in another county. And I'll find out if you'd like to and get back to you on that one.
I was just
It's a
curious.
good
'Cause
question. Yeah.
it had piqued my interest. So.
Yeah.
Are there other questions on Chris's report?
Thank you.
Seeing none, we'll move to item 9C, update from the Forest Lake Area Chamber of Commerce. I see that she's absent tonight. Is there anything that she provided to you, Abby?
No, not other than just the annual report, but no, nothing else tonight.
Are there any updates from members?
I just note that the Chamber Expo is coming up here in a couple of weeks. It was at March 21st, I want to say. So it's an important event for area businesses. So something to note for, if we have a chance to invite anybody.
There's nothing else. We can move to item number 10 if someone wants to motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
That motion's non-debatable. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.